I didn't plan my revenge. I didn't scheme or plot or sharpen it like a blade. But one night, a popular jock thought it would be funny to humiliate the weird goth girl. Instead, he accidentally destroyed his own reputation so completely that even his friends helped finish the job. And to this day, I still don't know how you come back from being rejected by me. Before we get into this, if you've ever been underestimated, mocked, or treated like a joke just for being different, you're going to feel this one. So settle in, hit like if you enjoy stories where karma doesn't miss, and subscribe for more true revenge stories. Now let me take you back to high school. Back to when being yourself made you a target. I was the weird goth girl in high school. Black eyeliner so thick it looked like war paint. Band shirts no one else recognized. Heavy boots clomping down linoleum hallways that smelled like bleach and teenage desperation. And honestly, I owned it. I wasn't trying to be mysterious or edgy. I just didn't fit. And at 16, that's enough to make you invisible. Or a target. This was 2007. Flip phones, texting with T9, no social media to curate your image. Just who you were, every day, in front of everyone. High school was a fishbowl, and I already knew exactly where I stood in it. So when I got a random text one night from a number I didn't recognize, my first thought wasn't romance. It was confusion. Hey, guess who this is? That was it. No context, no introduction, just that. My stomach tightened. Something about it felt off immediately, like someone tapping on the glass of your bedroom window at night. I texted back, who? He made a game out of it, kept pushing, kept flirting. Come on, you know me. Think football. Hallway by the gym? When he finally said his name, I actually laughed out loud, because I hadn't spoken to this guy since 7th grade. He was a football player. Popular. Loud. The kind of guy who moved through school like he owned the place. Surrounded by other guys just like him. The kind of guy who would never, ever talk to someone like me in public. And suddenly, here he was, sliding into my DMs, before that phrase even existed. At first, I tried to be polite, detached. Oh, yeah, I remember you. That's nice of you to say. When he told me he thought I was cute, I declined, calmly, clearly. I don't really date in high school. That was true. I didn't. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The tone shifted. The compliments turned heavier. The jokes got more suggestive. The texts started coming faster, later, more insistent. Come over. No one's home. It'll be fun. My skin crawled every time my phone buzzed. I told him no, again. I reminded him of my boundary, again. And then the messages crossed a line. They got graphic. Not subtle flirting, not awkward teenage bravado, just gross, explicit, disrespectful. I stared at my phone, heart pounding, anger blooming hot in my chest. It wasn't just that he was hitting on me. It was the assumption behind it. That I should be grateful. That I was lucky he noticed me. That my no didn't really mean anything. Something snapped. I didn't carefully choose my words. I didn't soften the blow. I unloaded. I called him gross, unoriginal, pathetic. I told him exactly what I thought, that he was just another copy-paste jock who would peak in high school and spend the rest of his life talking about the good old days. Every insecurity he probably buried under muscle and popularity, I dragged it into the light. I hit send and felt my hands shaking. And then came the silence. For a moment, I wondered if I'd gone too far. I had no idea that behind that silence, everything was about to explode. Mini cliffhanger. Because what I didn't know yet was that none of this was supposed to be real to him. To him, I was just the punchline. The truth came out fast, not from him, but from the fallout. Within days, I started hearing side glances, half laughs that stopped when I looked over. Then one of my friends pulled me aside. You know he was messing with you, right? My stomach dropped. Apparently, this whole thing, the texts, the flirting, the pressure, it was a joke, a setup. He'd been sitting in his living room with a group of his friends, phone in hand, as he sent those messages, reading my replies out loud, watching my reactions like entertainment. The plan was to spread the texts around school, to embarrass me, to make the goth girl the punchline. And worse, they'd been trying to get me to come over, to his house, where multiple guys were waiting. When I realized that, I felt cold all over. Because suddenly this wasn't just humiliation, it was dangerous. I lay awake that night staring at the ceiling, replaying every text, every word. My heart wouldn't slow down. What if I'd gone? What if I'd believed him? I felt sick, violated, angry in a way that buzzed under my skin. But here's the thing. He didn't get the ending he expected. Because when I tore into him, when I rejected him so publicly, so brutally, it wasn't part of the script. And his friends noticed. Instead of laughing at me, they started laughing at him. Because in their version of the story, he wasn't a mastermind. He was a popular football player who just got absolutely demolished by the school weirdo. And teenagers are ruthless. The texts leaked, but not the way he planned. Screenshots spread. Whispers turned into laughter. Laughter turned into reputation rot. He got curved by her? Dude tried and failed. Imagine being rejected that hard. My friends were furious when they found out the truth. They amplified everything. They told everyone what he'd been trying to do, what kind of person he really was. And suddenly, the narrative flipped. I wasn't the joke anymore. He was. Still, walking through school felt heavy. I felt exposed, on edge, watching every corner. But every day, his world shrank a little more. Mini cliffhanger. And the best part? I didn't lift another finger, because the revenge had already escaped my control. There's a strange moment when you realize you're no longer powerless. For me, it came when I noticed he stopped looking people in the eye. The hallways shifted. The same guys who used to slap his shoulder and laugh, they smirked when he passed. Girls who used to orbit him, they whispered. He avoided me completely. And that's when it hit me. I didn't need to do anything else. The truth was louder than any revenge fantasy I could have cooked up. I hadn't been toxic. I hadn't overreacted. I had enforced a boundary. And his attempt to humiliate me exposed something ugly about him instead. There was a quiet satisfaction in that. Not joy, something colder, heavier, justice. Because he wasn't punished for liking me. He was punished for disrespecting me, for assuming I was less than, for thinking my dignity was disposable. And the irony? The thing that destroyed him wasn't my words. It was his own plan. By the time graduation rolled around, his reputation was a ghost of what it used to be, and everyone knew why. High school has a short memory, but not when humiliation sticks. He never recovered. People remembered him as the guy who tried to prank the goth girl, and failed so badly it backfired into social suicide. And me? I kept being myself. Louder eyeliner, heavier boots, stronger spine. Years later, when I think about it, I don't feel guilt. I feel relief. Because that night could have gone so differently, so much worse. And instead, karma showed up early and didn't miss. So yeah, R.I.P. your reputation, my guy. You tried to make me the joke. Instead, you became the cautionary tale. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments. Have you ever watched someone's cruelty completely destroy them instead? Like, subscribe, and stick around for more true revenge stories where being underestimated turns out to be the biggest mistake